What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Lineup HQ for the NBA Showdown NBA Finals. It's Game 5. It's Monday, and we're going to break down some players for you and let you know what we think about it. Joined today by SquirrelPatrol, one of the better guys out there in the industry for GPP. So, Squirrel, how's it? How was your weekend, man?
Good, yeah, good weekend. I think we were talking on Friday, and it's like we had a big weekend of sports coming up, and it didn't disappoint. Like great MMA card, great basketball, great baseball all weekend. So yeah, looking forward to rolling into this week. And, starting with Game 5 of the NBA Finals.
Yeah, this one's winding down. We got best out of 3 right now to determine the NBA champion this year. I don't know if it's going to go all 7. My guess is it will, and that would fall next Sunday on Father's Day. That would be very, very intriguing. That would be just a very highly rated game. So we'll see how it plays out. But we got an interesting one tonight because it's 2-2. It feels like the wins are a lot easier for Boston. Like Golden State feels like they have to really, scratch and claw to get their wins, and Boston's feel pretty easy, pretty handily. And that's the way Boston is. So we'll see how it works tonight. They've been great on the road. I don't home court advantage in this thing doesn't matter one iota. Boston's been really below average at home in the playoffs. Really good on the road. The only time it would matter, I think, is if we get back to a Game 7 and it's in Golden State, and then that would be a little bit more pressurized. But I don't take it. Do you take into consideration that Boston's on the road here? Because I don't think it really bothers them at all.
No, not at all. I mean, they've already won one in this series on the road, and I can see them pulling it out again tonight. I mean, I think Golden State will win, but I kind of like the Boston. It's like 3.5, 4 points. Like if you can find Boston with 4 points, I like that because Boston's already proven they can win one on the road, and Golden State won in Boston, but like Steph Curry had to go absolutely berserk. So, he's clearly capable of doing that at home as well. But I was looking, he's shot like 25 of 51 in the 4 games from 3-point range. Like I don't know if that 50% 3-point range shooting is sustainable. So we'll see how it goes tonight.
Well, they say when you're at home, the role players are a little bit more comfortable and they step up. So he's going to need a little bit of help tonight. Looking at the way these teams are divvying up minutes is interesting. Boston is like 6 guys, and that's it. Like just a little bit of Grant Williams, just a little bit of Peyton Pritchard, just to give guys a little bit of breather. But they're basically a 6-man rotation. Golden State's a little bit more spread out. I think they're trying to still find things that work. They're still trying to figure out, man, is Looney really a guy that we can use? Is Otto Porter, can he be played here? Can we get away from the Draymond Looney lineup? Because that doesn't work for them offensively. They're still figuring things out, and Boston's a little bit more condensed and know exactly what they want to do. So maybe we can take advantage of that tonight. Let's start off on DraftKings. And you have an idea of a captain that you really like tonight, or are we just kind of just playing it by ear?
I kind of like Jason Tatum. I think we've got him at like 50% ownership. No, a little bit. So was it 21%? I like Tatum because I think people are gonna overlook him a little bit, and like he still might be the best player in this series. We'll see. I think Steph Curry is gonna go very, very highly owned in the captain spot, especially after his last game playing at home. So I think like Tatum's, obviously not way off the board, but I think you may get a little bit of an ownership edge there.
They say he's been bad this series. Like if I'm watching ESPN or something, they say he's not playing well, but his fantasy numbers are still there. They're still elite. And so I can get behind that, man. At some point, he should be able to break out. And we can start filling out some utility spots. Let's talk about Curry for a minute. I need your opinion on him. Like I keep thinking they're going to do something different to slow him down. He's crushing them, but he keeps on coming out and crushing. Are they ever going to make an adjustment, or you think this is just how it's going to go this series?
I don't know what adjustment they can make. I mean, I think they're just going to play Derek White a ton of minutes and hope that White can defend him along with Marcus Smart. Like, I don't know. What can they do? Like they don't have that player, right? They can shut down Steph Curry. I mean, not a lot of teams do.
They don't. I think the one adjustment that they could make is the double teaming, stretch it out further, but I understand why they're hesitant to do that, because when they do that, Golden State is such a good ball movement team that they'll get much higher percentage 2-point shots. I understand it, but at some point, I guess if you lose another game, if you're on elimination, maybe you change it. But yeah, or maybe Udoka. I've said this before. Like sometimes he waits out 3/4 of basketball just to drop that, different game plan on you in the fourth quarter, so you don't have a chance to adjust. Maybe he's doing the same thing the long game in the series. He's playing this thing out, and then he'll drop like what he really wants to do, like in game 6 or game 7, and you have zero time to adjust in between games. So who knows? But so with that being said, you say there's probably nothing that they're going to do right now. I mean, he's dropping like these massive games fantasy wise. Should we be playing him in the utility spot, or can we fade him again? Because I know the last show we faded him thinking he was going to be hurt with the ankle injury and everything, and he goes for 64 DraftKings points, but he's done it the whole series. Like if we're fading him every game, we've lost every game, because raw points matter in showdowns. So what do we do with Curry?
I think we got to play him in the utility spot. I think this DraftKings showdown might come down to like the really cheap guys, the bench guys. I think it's going to be a close game, and I think with 3 games left, like there's no reason to be taking the starters out, right? I think these guys are all going to see like 40+ minutes. So as long as the ankle's okay, I think Curry's going to be out there, and I think what we're going to have to do is get creative. I think we got to play Tatum and Curry, and then get creative with like the really cheap guys.
We can do that. You mentioned 40+ minutes. We've got a whole bunch of guys who are playing 40+ minutes in this series. So it's just a matter of which one's going to have a good game. But we can pin down the minutes. We know where they're going. It's just a matter of who's going to have that hot game from the outside or whatever like that. So, all right, we got about 5,500 per player left for our utilities. At some point, we'll save some money, but I don't know if that's right now. Is you have another player in mind here that I don't know if we're going to be able to fit him in, but like the one guy, the constant in this whole thing has been Andrew Wiggins. He's playing almost every minute of the game, putting up. If he's not scoring points, he's rebounding. He's blocking shots. He's he'll occasionally hit you the 3-pointer. He's just been rock solid, and the price doesn't go up enough. I don't know if we can play him, but does Andrew Wiggins do anything for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think not having Curry at the captain spot, maybe we're saying he's getting just a few more assists and maybe a few less 3-pointers, and maybe some of those assists are going to Wiggins. So I can see him fitting into this lineup.
Yeah, if they jump his price up, I'd be less inclined to play him, but it's just not moving enough for a guy who's playing that much. So that's going to leave us now. We're a little bit below 5K per spot. We got to figure some things out. How are we going to save money and make this lineup work? Oh, I mean, there's some options though, because they're playing guys for like 9-10 minutes a game that could actually do you some good. So it works. Who's your salary saver that we're going to be looking at?
So this is, I'm going to go kind of off the board, but what about Andre Iguodala? It's like Golden State's like kind of, changing their rotations a bit. They started Otto Porter last game to get Kevon Looney kind of staggered with Draymond Green, I think. And I wonder if Iguodala, if he's getting healthier, like he missed a couple of games, or I think earlier this series, but then he came back last game, played just a couple minutes, but he's 1,000. And I think that could be the difference maker on DraftKings. But we just got to make sure he plays. That's the issue.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if he plays. If he doesn't, then maybe it opens up another avenue for another guy who's really cheap. But I'm with you in that he's a veteran. He doesn't have much left in the tank, but he's probably got one solid game of 10 to 15 minutes left in the tank to win a series, to help win a series. And this might be it. One of these next few games is going to be it for him. I'm with you. Like, I'm looking at the game log. That first game against Boston, almost 12 fantasy points. Like, that right there would be perfect for us tonight. I'd take that tonight. So, yeah, I'm with the Iguodala call. But if
3 games left most, right? So, and Golden State's at home. I mean, as long as he's like not declared out at 1,000 on DraftKings, I think with all these starters playing big minutes, putting up big points, like you're gonna need someone very cheap. And Iguodala probably has the best combination of like upside and very low ownership.
Yeah, I would also say that. So from a strategy standpoint or lineup roster construction, I want one guy in that range. Let me see. I say I cut it off at about. Let's cut it off at 5,500. Let's say 5,500 or less. That includes the Grant Williams, Gary Payton's, Peyton Pritchard. I want one of those guys. I don't want to take a chance on a roster and have two of those guys. Right. So I just want one big salary saver, not two of them. So with one big salary saver, it could be Iguodala. Another cheap one is Bielitsa, who's getting a little bit of run. So you got that in that one in your arsenal, and so there's options down there, even if Iguodala gets ruled out. But I like that call because he's going to do something in one of these three games to help them try to win a game and see if it works out. Now that boosts us up to 6,700 per player left. Now we got a little wiggle room to work with. So we're back in Golden State. The Golden State role player, one of them may end up being a little bit better than it may be. Jordan Poole at home is a little bit better than he was on the road, or Otto Porter. We mentioned him. I don't know if we want to go that route with Iguodala in the lineup also, but we've got options here. Where do we go? I mean, and we've got guys who are playing big minutes like Derek White too. So, yeah. and we haven't talked about Draymond, the Draymond scenario. At some point, you think maybe he's going to have a decent fantasy game here, but I don't know. So we got options here. Who's the next player you're looking at?
I wonder about Kevon Looney because he didn't start, but he played his most minutes of the series. And I think people are going to look and see that he didn't start, and they might not realize that he was still a big part of the rotation. Played like 28 minutes, most in the series so far. So I think, we got this salary. I agree. We can go like two of these middle price guys and really just rotate them if you're doing a bunch of lineups. But yeah, Kevon Looney. You see like 28 minutes, like 25 DraftKings points. He fits the salary.
He's been really good. I give him a lot of credit. He's been better than what I thought he was going to be in this series. So we can plug him in there, but there's a lot of guys in that range that we could be looking at there, and so we'll leave it there. But $7,300 for your last spot, we're not going to fill it in for you. But man, like you can go all the way up to Al Horford if you wanted to, and Al Horford's been a guy who's consistently put up monster games in the playoffs. So this is a really good lineup. The only question mark you have in this whole lineup is Iguodala. We just need double digits out of Iguodala, and then we could be really good. So I think these teams kind of build themselves tonight, what it looks like. So let's go to FanDuel, where it's a little bit different.
Just one note on the DraftKings lineup. Like I like the idea if you're heading out to dinner or whatever, like leave 400 on the table, and then you can try to swap up from Iguodala to Bielitsa if you're out.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good point. And you probably want to be leaving a little bit of money on the table anyway in a showdown, so it kind of fits the bill. But DraftKings is a little bit different. We can't get away from the raw points here. So Curry, Tatum, those guys up top. I've been trying to do a thing where I fade one of them in every showdown because, up top here, just thinking they're going to have a poor game. Curry specifically. Just not having poor games anymore. Like, it's crazy. So what do we do with Curry, Tatum, and the MVP star spot, and how we're going to do this?
I still like the idea of going Jason Tatum. It's a raw points issue at this point, but like there's no 3-point bonus on FanDuel, right? So it's not just the difference in the salary multiplier; it's a difference in the scoring. And like Steph Curry's hitting 7-8 3-pointers, like that's an extra 3 or 4 points on DraftKings, and you get the extra points for the blocks and steals on FanDuel. So I think maybe we go with Jason Tatum in the MVP spot and hope that the scoring just works in our favor. And I think Tatum could have a huge game tonight.
I mean, like we said earlier, he's not really playing that well, especially not offensively from the field, and yet he's still putting up these 50-point games. So I'm okay with that. I think that's a good call. Does that mean that we're shoving Curry in the next spot?
Yeah, I mean, so that would maybe be a place to get different, but it's tough. I mean, it's going to be raw points. But dude, the
Because if we're not using him in the star spot, we're fading Curry again. Hadn't worked for me yet, but it might work tonight. You never know. What do you think?
I'd say like maybe put him in the pro. Like maybe we're using
Oh.
Steph the pro spot, so it's not like a complete fade. He's still getting one of the multipliers, but then it's a question of who fits into that star spot. Maybe it's Andrew Wiggins.
Okay.
Like maybe that's the call. Like Boston's got to make an adjustment. They got to throw everyone and everything at Steph Curry tonight, and then Golden State gets the ball movement going, and Andrew Wiggins is a beneficiary there.
I mean, he's just been steady, and then now he's playing up over 40 minutes a game. They're not going to take him off the court now. It's crunch time. These guys they get plenty of rest in between these games. I mean, yeah, I'm with you. There's a chance. First of all, whatever we do from here on out is going to be we're going to be different because we're using Wiggins. Now, you say we're going Curry and pro?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah, we can definitely. Yeah, by doing that right there. So we don't even have to worry about salary left on the table or anything. We are automatically different with that build. And so all you got to do is ask, is there a scenario where Wiggins can outscore Curry? Absolutely. Like he's been close in a couple of these games. If he just gets a couple more 3-pointers to fall, yeah. So I'm good with that. I think that's a great way to get different. And that leaves us $8,000. And we've got options, plenty of options. And we talked about some of the salary savers already. So there's even more down here. What do you think about where we're going next with this to save a little money?
I like Derek White. I mean, he's playing huge minutes, and they can't really take him off the court for that long because they need his defense on Steph Curry. So, if we're saying like Steph Curry's not having a abysmal game, he's just having a little bit lesser of a game than he's had so far in the series, could be due to some Derek White defense. Next still gives us enough money for a substantial bench player. So
yeah, we got enough left here to do a lot with a lot of different players who are going to get minutes. It's just a matter of picking out which one you think is going to get there. So $7,500 left. If you think it's going to be Otto Porter tonight, like I said, we don't have to worry about like being different now because we've already been different with the Wiggins call. So we just kind of want the raw points. Who's going to get the most raw points tonight? We're seeing a lot of Robert Williams in this series, but if Robert Williams struggles in any way, it could be a uptick for Peyton Pritchard. If Iguodala gets ruled out, maybe it's an uptick for Gary Payton. We can afford Otto Porter if we think he's just raw points wise. He's the most likely out of these guys to do well, but let's fill one out. Who you got? Who you like for this last spot in that really cheap range, 7,500 or less?
Yeah, I mean, I think Porter's probably going to be the highest. Yeah, he's the highest projected at that range. But I agree. I'd go a little bit less, like maybe go with Gary Payton. Figuring maybe this game's going a little bit smaller. I think Peyton Pritchard could fit in there. Probably from like a projection and ownership, I'd probably go with Gary Payton.
Let's do it. I think that he's just as likely to have a good game as some of these other guys down. There's anybody down there. Otto Porter, like you said, the highest projected, that doesn't always mean he's going to be the highest scoring. So I'm with that. I don't care that we zeroed it out, the roster salary, because anybody in the right mind is going to play Curry over Wiggins in the pro and the MVP and the pro and the star spot. So like we're different like that. So it doesn't matter. So I feel good about this. I think if we were going to summarize it, the key is find that one guy in the cheap range, whether we did Iguodala on DraftKings, Peyton over here. If you think it's Pritchard, Bielitsa getting some minutes now and actually doing a really nice job in his minutes. Never thought it was going to happen, but doing a nice job in his minutes. You got to find that cheap guy that gets 10 plus points tonight, and I think that could be the key to the gravy train. You got anything before we jump out of here?
Yeah, just like with the Gary Payton call, like blocks and steals, 3 points on Fanduel. I mean, he's a defensive specialist, so that could be the difference right there. That kind of vaults him into the winning lineup.
Role players at home, man. They say that's the way to go. So role players at home, we'll take a shot on Peyton or Iguodala or one of these role players at home. Guys, we appreciate you tuning in. Just a little quick rundown on some players we like in the showdown tonight. Lots of money out there on both sides. Get in there before the contests fill up. Next show will be let's see, what did they got on Thursday? Another big gap in days between games. So for sure, a program on Thursday. We'll see if there's a game 7 on Father's Day, but we'll be back on Thursday for that game 6. Until then, good luck in those GPPs. For Squirrel, I was Chop, and we're out of here.